Since its beginnings, Halloween has depicted stories of ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and spirits from beyond. From out of the farthest reaches and darkest corners of our minds crawl these menacing creatures that go bump in the night. Hey, John. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Ken.
In the spirit of Halloween, we're about to sit down with two local independent film producers, directors, writers, special effect artists, along with being twin brothers, Mark and John Polonia, who have created over 25 films in the past 15 years. So stick around, if you dare. We'll be right back after this.
Ken, weren't you scared just a little bit?
Nah.
Not at all? Not a teeny bit?
No,
not a tiny, teeny bit?
Not a bit, no.
I'm telling you, you're getting all worked up over nothing. I don't care what you say, Derek. There's something weird going on out here. Then what is it? Explain it to me. I don't know. I just feel it. Sounds like a jet. Man, that was a UFO. This is getting really strange. It almost seems as if it's scanning the area like some kind of scout ship. An invasion! We're witnessing the beginning of an invasion! If so, we know what they like to eat. Yeah, us.
Honestly, my brother and I were 5,
Yeah.
very young, when we got interested in movies, the cinema, the fantastic, filmmaking, writing, making monsters and dragons. For me, I can distinctly remember it being a movie called Godzilla vs. the Thing, or Godzilla vs. Mothra, depending on what title it's under, and just being amazed at what it was, you know, just the fact that you're watching this, something that's totally unbelievable, but you believe it, of course. As a 5-year-old, you believe it, but still there was something captivating, fascinating about it. Our older sister actually got us a book at the library on script writing.
Yeah, she is the one that showed us how to actually write a script, and the first script we ever wrote was The Return of Count Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 7 pages long. After that, we were probably writing, a new script every 2 days? A couple epics, too. We wrote a Godzilla-type movie called Tyrannobird that was for 6-7-year-old kids. It was like 40 pages long. Actually, my sister took it to school. She took it to her English teacher to have him read it to see what he thought, and she gave my sister an A because he thought that she wrote it. So that was kind of neat that he thought the script was actually pretty good.
We also, I think we really grew up at the right time, because movies had changed. TV was a booming industry, so lots of classic science fiction and monster movies were on television, whereas before we would not have seen them. So we were exposed to a whole world of cinema that, had we been born later or years earlier, we probably would have missed out on. And we saw a lot of stuff, and we wrote scripts, but then we had to go a step farther. We wanted to take what we wrote and make a movie out of it. We wanted to take the written word and make it into visuals. So we would secretly borrow our dad's 8mm camera and film stuff, which we always got caught because he'd develop it and see all this stuff and realize that we were the ones responsible for it. But that's kind of how it progressed. When we were 11, we bought our first movie camera.
It was a Super 8 Kodachrome camera.
And you got to remember, this was back in the day when there was no video.
Yeah.
So we really learned in our formal years of filmmaking. We had to shoot on film, which meant a whole different way of
we had to discipline ourselves
because it was expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it was $12, $14 for 3 minutes of film, and our movie's about were roughly 25, 30 minutes at the time. It was a half hour. So, I mean, we were probably spending $200 to $400 on, you know, on those little movies. And I mean, we had to only shoot what we needed, and we had to block everything out so we didn't have a lot of extraneous footage that we had to throw away because we just couldn't afford it. So that kind of disciplined us at an early age not to waste a lot of stuff and to actually, you know, take advantage of everything around you.
We bought a book called The Book of Movie Photography.
I still have that book.
And it was written by a British guy, so you know they know what they're talking about. And a lot of it was technical jargon, but at the same time it had lots of descriptive photos on how to frame a shot, what a dolly shot is, a tilt, a pan, a lot of the technical behind the scenes stuff. But, you know, our first camera was like learning how to drive a car. You just really had to buy the film, shoot it, experiment, get it back. You saw what worked and what didn't, and then you changed that and you applied it to the next round of film that you got. So it was, I guess the best way to say it is it was learning by trial by error, and it's the best way to learn. We did not have someone to stand behind us and tell us what was right and what was wrong and you shouldn't do this. You know, we learned from the School of Hard Knocks, which is a very good teacher, but it can also be a painful one too. So that was probably the route that we took, and like my brother said, it made us very disciplined as filmmakers later on down the road.
Come on! Come on! Is that the best you could do?
You know what?
What?
I think this is going to be the best Christmas yet.
Santa. You gotta look in the sky. I don't see Santa. What's that? I think it's an elf.
Our early films, like my brother said, we imbued with a lot of production value because we didn't just set out to make little short funny things where we run around the yard in raincoats and stuff. Our movies, they were like little mini major motion pictures. We had stunts, fire gags, we had people rolling off cars, we had cars hitting trees.
We had a lot of nighttime photography too, which was something that a lot of people our age, even people now, don't even like to do. Is we were shooting like whole movies like at night with artificial lighting outside and simulating rain and
special.
I mean, we treated them just like they were regular movies.
We weren't going to settle for anything less than what we saw on television and the screen, which, you know, obviously there's a big difference from then when we were doing it till now, but we had that drive and desire to go a little bit beyond what our peers at the time were doing, because we kept up with what other filmmakers were doing through various magazines and things, and you know, we just wanted to make what we thought was the best movie possible and challenge ourselves rather than settle for something we know we can do. Let's try something we're not sure of, or that's going to, you know, test our abilities and make us grow. You know, from a very early age, our life has been nothing but film. It's not a hobby for us. It's a way of life. It simply is our life. Movies are our life, and we can never escape that. And we're 36 now,
Yeah.
so we've easily been involved in this for 31 years.
We also did in high school was a lot of stop motion animation, like the Ray Harryhausen, Willis O'Brien movies, where you have like a model and you move it just a little bit, you click a frame of film, you move it a little bit more, click a frame of film, and we shot those on 8mm, and it would take us 2 months to do.
We spent all summer,
yeah,
literally
just working on something that lasted 2.5 minutes.
And then we get the film back, and it's obviously underexposed.
It wasn't lit right because we didn't have our aperture
Exposure
set
wasn't
right for the exposures.
But again, it was another skill. It was another way for us to express our filmic desires.
After we graduated, well, actually before we graduated high school, like our senior year, my dad got a video camera. So we eventually moved into videotape out of necessity, and we graduated high school, and right after that summer that after we graduated high school, we shot Splatter Farm, which was our first real big feature, and we shot that on videotape.
Our first feature was A Labor of Love, got released in video stores all over the United States and in foreign countries. That, for 17, 18-year-olds, that was a pretty big deal for us.
Yeah.
But we never stood in one place long enough. We always looked ahead, so we were on to another project. We did a comedy about vampires. We did a dinosaur science fiction movie that we shot on Super 8 film. And we did a lot of other small shot on video movies, and every one we did, we learned a little bit more. We were working with semi-professional actors, professional actors. We were gaining access to better equipment through a job that I had, which improved our productions technically, which was always an issue in the past because we were using consumer grade video.
Yeah, I mean, and you can only make that look so good.
We could actually put titles on our movies that weren't paper.
Yeah, we used to do all our titles on paper, and when we started shooting on video, we were like amazed that we could actually put titles over a moving image.
Even though we were still disappointed that video looked like a soap opera, but
yeah,
it was an affordable medium, and it allowed us to continue practicing our craft without causing us considerable expense. But we were making these movies, and we were fortunate. They were finding distribution for better or worse.
Yeah, maybe not big
Honestly,
distribution.
Some of the movies are technically questionable, but we kept trying, we kept progressing. Our first really big hit, other than the first film we made out of high school, was a science fiction movie called Feeders. It was an alien invasion movie. It was a throwback to the 1950s.
Yeah, like Invaders from Mars,
and we shot that on Super VHS. We shot it in 5 days. We had a guy from Ohio make the alien puppets, and we went out and did it, and we thought, how are we gonna do this science fiction alien thing? But we had an idea. We were gonna kind of play it campy like those movies were, and much to our surprise, we had decided we were gonna self-distribute. So we designed the box work. We designed everything. We sent screeners out to video companies, and we actually sent one to Blockbuster Video, the big chain, and Independence Day had just come out at the theater, and Blockbuster wanted an alien science fiction movie, and ours was right there. So we sold thousands of units of that movie.
About 5,000 altogether?
To that store. And it was everywhere, and it became their #1 independent film rental for 1996, and that outrented movies that cost between $1.5 to $2.5 million.
Yeah.
It's no use. There's too many of them.
Why fight them?
Oh my God!
It was about 3 years after we shot Feeders. We decided we wanted to take another gamble, take a chance, and we thought we'd shoot our next picture on the smallest available professional motion picture format, which is 16 millimeter. Now remember, we started in film on Super 8. 16 millimeter is twice the size and about 3 times the cost. So we had decided we were going to do this. We were going to shoot it on film. And most of our movies, normally we can shoot between 5 to 10 days, usually together or spread out over, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. We shot this movie for 14 consecutive weeks, every weekend, because shooting on film, it's just inherent. You have more equipment. The process of filmmaking is a little bit different. You're recording audio that's not on the film. You have to have more light. The equipment's bigger, so you have to allow for teardown, setup time. We were even using a dolly and a jib, so the camera could actually move up, move over and down, and kind of glide across the scene. The film was actually, I think we took a loan out for like $6,000. You know, for $6,000, it sure looked good. We were fortunate to find a gentleman in Elmira named Matt Smith who had his own equipment, and he
worked cheap.
We paid him a flat fee, but he also had a good time because it was a step for him. He'd never done a feature. He made his own movie, but it was more of a short.
Yeah.
So that was quite an experience, and it really gave us a taste of what shooting a big budget film would probably be like, because there was a lot of coordination, and you had to secure locations, and you had to light.
Your setup time
stuff.
took a lot longer.
Yeah, more prep than just the guerrilla style filmmaking that we'd grown accustomed to and kind of gotten in the habit of, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just in this case it didn't work.
Yeah.
So we that's where you meet a lot of the people that you work with. I go out to LA and work in Hollywood every once in a while, and the only reason I'm afforded to do that is because years ago I helped some fledgling filmmakers with some digital effects for a movie they were making, and they moved on to other things, and we went our own direction, but from time to time they need help with things, so they call me back in. So it's networking. You meet a lot of people, and you really learn to work with them. And filmmaking, even on our level, isn't just my brother and I. It's a lot of people who give a lot of what they're good at to the same focus and the same contribution to make the film work.
The House That Screamed was the first movie we shot on 16, and it was actually the last one we shot on 16 because it was so expensive. But we started doing non-linear editing, which is, we used to, in the olden days, we'd cut the actual film for the shots, and you had to be very careful, because if you cut too many frames off, you lost it. And then we went to video editing, where you transferred everything to videotape and you had 2 decks. Well, now, when we shot The House That Screamed, we did what they call non-linear editing. You put all the footage in a computer, and you have a little timeline, and you pull the pieces down. And it's real efficient, and it makes editing a lot more flexible than it used to be.
Creative.
Yeah.
We can do things
We
now that
couldn't do.
We knew what we wanted, but we just couldn't accomplish it with the equipment that we had at hand. So
I mean, that just shows you how far things have come since we started.
it's not all technology, though. I mean, you're still telling a story, and you still have to be imaginative and creative, because as anyone watching this will know, movies today cost hundreds of millions of dollars, literally. And you go to see some of this stuff and you think, where did all the money go? I mean, a movie doesn't have to cost a lot of money to be entertaining. It's what you put into it, and we try to put as much production value in it, entertainment value. You know, we just want it to be a fun experience for people, and that's something that fledgling filmmakers should understand, is that a lot of the best movies don't come from Hollywood. They come from someone's backyard. They come from anywhere but California, because movies can be made anywhere today. A lot of your big directors today shot movies in their hometowns because that's the only way they could do it, and that's the approach that we take. You know, we don't know where we're going to end up. We just know where we want to go, and that's what we're going to work towards.
I'd rather make no budget movies than no movies at all. You know, we like doing it, and we're going to continue doing so till probably the day we die.
Or our wives tell us.
We want to thank Mark and John for taking the time out of one of their busiest weekends to join us. Now, if you happen to see an eerie glow flickering across the sky, or a strange-looking figure lurking through the woods, you can rest assured it's all part of another Polonia Brothers entertainment film in the making. Or is it? Until the next time, we'll see you round the county.